Thank you so much, everyone, for staying with us. So there is a plan by the federal government, and it's considering the establishment of a National Coast Guard to professionally address emerging security threats and emergencies in the country. That bill has been proposed to the National Assembly, which has gone through the second reading, and it will go through public hearing tomorrow. It was initially scheduled for today, but has been postponed to tomorrow at about noon for public hearing. So what is the National Coast Guard? It has a long list of activities. There are those who say, yeah, we have a lot of insecurity on our coastal areas or on our high sea and on our waterways. But the question is, what about the Navy? Are we duplicating effort, or what exactly is the intention or the thinking behind these proposed bill? I'm being joined by a retired Rear Admiral Francis Akpan, a retired naval officer who is live for us here in our studio. Thanks so much, Admiral, for joining us tonight.
Thank you for inviting me.
I appreciate it.
Firstly, let me join, let me condole the President Commander-in-Chief on the demise of the Chief of Army Staff, the armed force, members of the armed forces in general, and the Army in particular, the demise of a gallant, distinguished officer, General Lagbaja. I also want to join the Navy community to condole Admiral O.S. Ibrahim, the demise of his wife, who passed on also. May the souls of departed rest in peace. And may the spouses and the country in general condole for the losses we experience.
When you heard, as a retired naval officer, when you heard that there's going to be a National Coast Guard, a proposition in the National Assembly, a bill to establish that agency, what came to your mind?
It's like a broken record.
So we've had this before.
We've had it severally. It looks like a pattern. Whenever there is a change in the command of some of the maritime agencies, the first thing they come up with is the establishment of a security force. It comes with so many kinds of names, but the intentions are always similar, to raise a Coast Guard from way back in the 1990s. So it's like something that occurs every 5 or 4 years. It's like a circle. And I think it should be put in abeyance once and for all.
Does it pose a threat to the Navy?
It's not a threat to the Navy.
No, but I mean, in terms of the competition of roles or duplication of effort, does it pose a threat in some way?
It puts a threat to the functions of the Navy, not to the existence of the Navy, because some of these ideals that they project, they are the core purposes with the objectives of the Navy. The Navy is the constitutionally, it came in through the Constitution as through an act of Parliament, and 68 years old, has gone through all the molding and making of an ideal Navy. Today, the Nigerian Navy could be ascribed as the third strongest Navy in Africa, with all the paraphernalia of office. It has distinguished itself. It has come up with the best in terms of capital training for the officers.
Yet we have all of this insecurity on our waterways. Does it also raise a big question mark on the functionality, on the effectiveness of the Nigerian Navy? Perhaps the Navy is failing in its duties, because if there are no gaps, there won't be talks about establishment of a National Coast Guard.
Before you come in to create another service, an armed forces service, you need to go through the needs analysis. There must be a threat analysis that will come up from the Office of National Security, and the defense architecture itself must go through the various processes to find out where there are these lacunas and gaps. I haven't seen the failures you're talking about, because the Nigerian Navy has been up to it. In the last 10 years, 2 years ago, Nigeria was exited from the countries of piracy-prone nations, which means they've been up to the task of making sure that pirates were completely eliminated in the last 2 years. She has put in place the Maritime Domain Awareness System, the Falcon Eye, which sweeps up to 200 nautical miles from Cameroon to the Republic of Togo. And that, of course, has given us a conducive maritime security environment.
So it means that we could see up until Cameroon what happens on the blue or the brown sea?
Up to 200 nautical miles. On the brown seas, there's the plan to bring in the Hawkeye, a system like the Falcon Eye, but will have that backward integration. But be that as it's made, there are other things they've done, the creation of the forward operational bases, looking at choke points along 200 plus SGRs, We are talking about up to 200 points estuary. We're putting choke points. The Nigerian Navy has put choke points in these channels to be able to have quick reaction time to when you have malfeasances in the channels. So be that as it may, I don't think that the fundamentals we face now will give us the room to create another member or to create a new service to be part of the armed forces of Nigeria.
So the National Guard has been drafted in the bill before it's crossed the second reading. So it's going to the public hearing tomorrow, which is part of the legislative process. Now, the bill is also for the establishment of the National Coast Guard, and the agency will be to monitor our waterways. Not only that, it will be responsible for securing maritime zones within Nigeria. It will also be meant to support Nigerian Navy during war. That means that whenever there is any incursion or any kind of unrest, the National Coast Guard. I mean, just those who will say we have similar thing in the United States, and that will be very effective, considering the fact that under the noses and the watch of the Nigerian Navy, we see a lot of oil theft, crude oil theft on our waterways, going through and coming back into the country in billions of dollars every year.
The United States Coast Guard, which we always refer to, is responsible under the Secretary of Home Security for the providing security on United States international territorial waters. Yeah. Now we have the brown waters, the blue water, the continental waters, and of course the deep blue sea. All these are responsibilities of the Navy. All these are responsibilities of the Navy.
The Navy is overwhelmed. That's why this is coming.
The Navy is not overwhelmed because we have not had a threat analysis to determine where there are all these gaps within the army.
This is what has led to the proposition of the bill.
That couldn't have been what has led to the proposition of the bill. Like I said, it recurs every 4 or 5 years. But we need to look at the Navy itself. Why are you creating a problem to solve a problem? If there is a problem, we need to analyze it and come up with solutions to.
So you think that we do not need a national coast guard?
We do not need a national coast guard.
Is it a duplication of effort?
It is a duplication of efforts. For example, while the Navy created the Falcon Eye, the MPA also created its own maritime domain awareness system. NIMASA also did hers, called Deep Blue. None of these are integrated. We also have other services like the Customs, the Marine Police, and of course, National Civil Defense Corps now having their maritime services.
So there are different layers in different agencies. So we need in the security architecture that are doing similar thing. When we wonder that Navy is primarily to guard the external perimeters of our waterways. Is that right?
The Nigerian Navy is responsible for providing maritime conducive environment in our maritime domain.
Whether within or on the perimeter.
Exactly. Whether backwaters or seawards. Yeah. Exactly. That is our responsibility.
So, I mean, from your own experience, Rear Admiral, you've served in the Navy gallantly. You've been on our water. You say, according to you, you've seen improvement. This effort in the National Assembly, you think is a waste of time, a waste of effort, a waste of resources, and it's going to cause more problems. That's what you think.
It's going to cause a lot of problems. First, it's duplication of resources, which you don't have now. Creating a Coast Guard is as expensive as sustaining the Navy and giving her all the capabilities she requires to plug whatever the gaps we are experiencing. What they also intend to do is to provide sea lift for troops like the Nigerian Army. That is what the Navy is doing already. As a matter of fact, she just commissioned the NNS cadre, which will fit that role like we ever done before. We've done sea lift to Sierra Leone, to Freetown. We even did to Lebanon in the 80s as part of the United Nations effort to the UNIFIL fall in Lebanon. So the Navy has had its own Nigerian Navy strategic systems in which it builds its force based on the strategic needs of the service and the dire needs of making sure the Nigerian Navy provides the conducive environment for business and economy to thrive. She's doing the best, and she should be encouraged.
We hope that someone,
not just distractions.
Yeah, we hope someone will bring this knowledge to bear tomorrow at the public hearing. Rear Admiral Francis Akpan, thank you so much indeed for your time tonight.
Thank you, Cheryl, for having me.
That's our show for tonight, everyone. Many thanks for being part of it. I'm Sean Kimale. God bless Nigeria.